Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Jessica Clemons, and this is a breakdown of Amazon's newest series, Fallout Episode 1, titled The End, which I'm already obsessed with. Amazon isn't new to gaming, having produced New World and Lost Ark. Still, when it comes to video games and TV adaptations, it definitely was a risky endeavor choosing one of the oldest, maybe oldest to me, most popular role-playing video games and focusing on a new original story to guide us through the Fallout universe. Fallout is a video game that originally debuted in 1997. The most recent major installment for this game was released in 2018 with Fallout 76. The games are set in like a post-nuclear world in the future that has like a 40s, 50s nostalgic vibe mixed with futuristic tech. You mainly play as a vault dweller who will journey outside the vault for one mission or another, depending on the game, which is what we see here with Lucy in the first episode. Amazon dropped all the episodes at once, and I love to binge drop, as you know, but I know some of y'all don't really like binge dropping. So for this series, we'll be breaking down episode 1, and then next week you'll get the rest of the episodes in a full like series breakdown. And maybe it won't be a full week from now. Maybe it'll be just like a couple days from now. We're just trying to go slow, mix it up a little bit. But before your next trip out of the vault, be sure to stop by nerdriot.shop and consider spending some bottle caps on new Rockstars merch inspired by some of your favorite fandoms. Right now, you can grab some merch featuring some of your favorite mutants from 1997, or maybe consider a shirt from the Xavier Academy. Support the channel and check out these designs along with all of the merch options we have over at nerdriot.shop. You can also just grab a classic t-shirt like the one I'm wearing right now. It's big on me, but I love it. Not a crop top. Okay, let's go. Additionally, if you don't know, I'll be spoiling the first episode. This is a breakdown, so get with the program. Though, I'll also just add some snippets from the games and trailers. Any major spoilers though, I'll re-warn you when we get to it, so let's just get into it. We start the episode with the title page for The End. We hear Nat King Cole's Orange Colored Sky. Orange Colored Sky is a frequent player on Fallout 4's in-game radio and was the first featured in marketing for Fallout New Vegas. Fallout is also very known for its old-timey music, and you'll get it throughout this entire episode. We see Cooper Howard pre-ghouling, played by Walton Goggins, doing some rope tricks for a birthday party in a picturesque town as onlookers applaud. Currently, yes, Cooper Howard is performing at a children's birthday party, but he was also a successful actor during this time. In Fallout 76 recent America's Playground update, they had posters in the game of Howard's other movies. Prime Video a couple months ago released a special live report on their YouTube page. Like the boys bringing us VOT news clips, they released a radio program of a man losing his mind behind the closed vaults after the nukes. The man mentions how Howard is the lead actor in a smash hit movie called The Man from Dead Horse, and it was so good it was about to get a sequel in the works. He also welcomes us to the vaults in the latest trailer, and I'm assuming it's as the famed actor Cooper Howard. So he should be making bank, right? Well, wrong, because our boy has to pay alimony in lieu of his divorce, so that's probably coming from his Hollywood movie money and why we see him performing at child birthday parties. The sad part is in the last month's trailer, we saw what I assume is his wife and him kissing inside a vault room, but unfortunately that happy ending clearly ends somewhere. And while Howard doesn't seem to have any official affiliation with Vault Tech now, he and his daughter do sport the same shades of yellow and blue that we'll see in future Vault Dwellers. We also see Mr. Handy, voiced in the show by the incredible Matt Berry. If you don't know Matt Berry, he's the good time boy, my rotten soldier, my sweet cheese, New York City. I can't do that voice. This is the name of the robotic butler. These handy units come in many specialties, including doctors, chefs, and of course, weapons. Ooh. We see Mr. Handy pushing Lucy on a gurney from a future episode in the trailers. We immediately discover something is amiss as the radio news broadcast reports this.
Negotiations were scheduled to continue today as the White House had no comment about the president's whereabouts.
Then it gets immediately switched off as Nat King Cole sings, "And the bottom fell out, I went into a spin." The negotiations are likely between America and China, who in the games had been fighting in the Sino-American War for the past 10 years, and we're in something of a stalemate. The president having disappeared means he's probably hiding on a deep-sea oil rig that will become the headquarters for the Enclave. The Enclave is mentioned later in the episode, and is a group of American elites who had a plan to ride out the nuclear fallout in safety and comfort to rebuild America later. They claim to be the new US government, as many of its members were former US officials. For about the last month of the war, the president and the other Enclave members were hiding out at a big oil rig, leaving America leaderless. The TV news then broadcast talks about the specter of nuclear war, but that too gets switched off, and this idyllic suburban housewife is determined to shut out all warnings. The news anchor sits in front of the world map, and it's similar to like Walter Cronkite and other news anchors from the 50s and 60s. The TV prop comes straight out of the games as well, Fallout 3 and New Vegas. Nat King Cole sings "Flash, Bam, Alakazam, and Goodbye." My God. Am I Nat? Am I Natalie? Singing Flash Bam, Alakazam, and Goodbye is really telegraphing what's to come. And before we get too into it, let's chat out the timeline very fast. The opening scene does not take place during the 1950s. Fallout is set in an alternative version of our world, heavily inspired by the 1950s America. But what we see here is actually set in 2077. I didn't mention that at the beginning. I probably should have. Cooper doesn't want to give his thumbs up, which is definitely an homage to the classic Fallout Vault Boy thumbs up. Here it's described you hold your thumb up to a mushroom cloud, and if the cloud is smaller than your thumb, you run for the hills. If it's bigger, don't bother running. But the reason why Vault Boy is giving the thumbs up is because of this reason. Because back in the day in America, teachers taught us the mushroom cloud thumb trick. One of the party guests says this.
Pinko.
Yeah. Still took my money.
Pinko is a term widely used during the Cold War to describe people a bit lighter than red, or to put it in another way, favorable to communism. These people were often outcast from society, hence Howard having to do the kid's birthday party in order to pay off his alimony. He's being blacklisted from Hollywood. The birthday kid's name is Roy, like Roy Rogers, another American actor famous for playing cowboys. His asshole dad spends most of the beginning being spiteful and rude towards Cooper and snaps photos while drinking this beer. This beer is actually from the video game. It's Fish Brow Pale Ale. You can see it in Fallout New Vegas at the Lucky 38 casino. His camera is also super vintage though, like the TV. Fallout features junk items like cameras occasionally, and they all sort of resemble this one. And I love how the flash of the camera is so bright and loud, also foreshadowing the blast to come. When the children sit down for cake and TV, my favorite meal of the day, they immediately watch a weather report that the weatherman doesn't want to report on because we might die soon, and rightfully so. The mom once again switches the dial for happier news. We get an ad for Nuka-Cola, which is a staple in Fallout games, then an ad for Fallout 4's vehicle, the Zip, a microcar made alongside the Flea, then Sugar Bombs, a cereal you can pick up in the game. The kids settle on Grognak the Barbarian, typically a comic character in the games, brought to animation here. The nuke lands in Los Angeles and we see the crappy dad escaping into their bomb shelter, refusing access to his friend and his daughter. The hatch reads Fallout Shelter, which is of course very descriptive, but also the name of the Fallout mobile game. Everyone's scattering and Cooper rides off on his horse with his daughter, and I think this red car that he passes is the cherry bomb from Fallout 4. As the music crescendos, we see the nuke land all over LA. You can see the Griffith Observatory, and from trailer footage, this seems like a poppin' spot later. We also see a billboard for Vault Tech reading Prepare for the Future, which is a fitting message as we transition to the next scene. The Fallout title materializes through the fire caused by the explosions. We'll see different versions of this title revealed in future episodes with similar thematic references. We jump 219 years later. The year is 2296. This will be the farthest we've ever been in the Fallout timeline. The last we saw this universe was actually in 2287 in Fallout 4. We're introduced to Lucy in Vault 33. Lucy is the daughter of the Overseer played by Kyle MacLachlan. The Overseer is selected to run the vault to the vault's tech specifications. Lucy is applying for a trade with Vault 32 that happens every 3 years. It seems as though the trade does not always involve people, but has in the past. This idea of swapping vault dwellers may have a bit more to it than meets the eye, so stay tuned, we'll get back into that in a little bit. We see a ton of fun Fallout Easter eggs in her request montage, so let's go through them really quick. This montage is set to Perry Como's Don't Let the Stars Get in Your Eyes. Lucy lists a few skills including repair, science, and speech, all different types of Vault Boy bobbleheads in the games that can improve your stats. In the classroom, we see some dates on the board including 1969, the in-universe year the Commonwealths were created, a reshuffling of the 50 states into 13 districts. You'll notice the US flag bearing those 13, or technically 14 stars, the 14th representing the nation. Also in the classroom are posters depicting various types of corn grown in Vault 33. Their main objective as a vault in watercolor paintings of mushroom clouds, presumably as an art project for the students. Next, Lucy mentions her work with the gymnastics club. In the background, there's a poster that says, "Stay fit, stay focused," a poster that we see in the games. I love the 50s era exercise equipment in the background, even including a vibrating exercise belt like back there. Lucy and her father watch an old movie featuring a cowboy. It's unclear if this is Howard, so we're gonna pretend it is. Lucy tends to the community garden. In the background, you can see some trellises. These are most likely for potatoes, a plant hybrid between a tomato and a potato, as corn doesn't typically grow on the trellises like these. Lucy's brother is playing Atomic Command, a game you could find and play on your Pip-Boy just like he's doing in Fallout 4. Pip-Boys are Vault Tech issued smart devices that contain everything from your inventory list to dumb little calculator games like this. PIP stands for Personal Information Processor, and notice how every meal is of course dominated by or accompanied by corn. Lucy is being interviewed by Leslie Uggams, who is Blind Al from Deadpool, and Zach Cherry, who's from, well, a lot of things, including Shang-Chi. I love that rather than telling her she's approved, it's all delivered electronically through her Pip-Boy. This is another signal that there may be more at play here, and we're gonna get into it. We're gonna theorize. We want to thank Geology for sponsoring this video, but also to thank them for making sure we look camera ready all day, every day. Geology's products use just a handful of powerful proven ingredients that have been trusted by dermatologists for decades. If you don't know where to start, Geology can create a simple and effective skincare routine just for you. All you gotta do is take a 30-second quiz. Geology can help you fight acne, reduce oiliness, prevent wrinkles, combat dark or puffy under eyes, have smoother, hydrated skin, and target signs of aging. Right now, if you use code NEWROCKSTARS100, Geology will give you 100% off their award-winning skincare trial set. You also get an additional bonus offer of up to 30% off one hair, skin, or body product when you add it to your trial. That's 100% off plus an additional 30% off. That's a lot of offs. Just click the link in the description or go to geolog.ie/rockstars100 to get started. Then we get a title page for Lucy, which we'll see for all our major players through the season. They begin setting up Lucy's wedding in the cornfield. All the vaults are different. They may have similar designs or sizes in the games, but it looks like this in the series. And Vault 33 is known for, corn. We also see an unlooted charisma bobblehead, and Lucy better snap that up pronto. That's some top tier loot right there. As Lucy examines the wedding dress, we can see the past dates of weddings that took place using this dress, along with the names of the women who wore it. And it's kind of hard to read, but we've got something like Kay Smith of April 3rd, 2272, and I think Ruth Cherry, October 10th, 2281, Wendy Y. Clark on July 26th, 2291, and Stephanie Harper, March 17th, 2294. And shout out to Stephanie for getting married on St. Patty's Day. That's a hard task to overcome. This dress also, to me, seems kind of gross, especially because Lucy leaves it on when she's banging. So like everyone but Stephanie might be banging in this dress. It's kind of like sisterhood of the bang dress. Don't give me that dress. Next, Lucy says this.
After 10 years of cousin stuff, I'm definitely excited for the real thing.
And please, someone tell me this isn't implying that Lucy's cousin is in love with her because they've been doing the nasty for years and just couldn't get married. In the background, you can see a pistol encased in glass. Later, one of the raiders manages to pop this open, but this could be a reference to the locked cryolator in Vault 111 that you can use dog meat to retrieve for you. A projector projects the background for the sublevel. It says Telesonic Magic of 3D. This was also featured in the trailer. It also has an endless loop of film. The Overseer tells Lucy this.
Gosh, you look just like your mother.
That will come up again later in the episode from the last person Lucy expects to hear it from. Vaults 31, 32, and 33 are able to make these trades because they're somehow connected. There's no mention of other Vault Tech vaults being connected like this, but Vault Tech runs social experiments on people living in them. So I'm sure we'll find more about how they're messing with these people later on. The group attacking the vault are raiders from the surface, which Lucy knows the second she points her wrist Geiger counter at her new hubby, and it's in the danger zone. Given what her dad said about the surface and the people who live there, it's safe to assume people who live in the vault are warned about raiders from an early age. They probably didn't realize some of them were so hunky though, and that's important info to take in. So Moldover also tells Lucy she looks just like her mom, and you just know Lucy is like, how the hell does this crazy woman know my mom? Moldover also kidnaps Lucy's dad, so there's some backstory here that we, along with Lucy, don't know yet, but maybe it has something to do with these damn experiments. So as Lucy's dad is the overseer for Vault 33, Vault 32's overseer is Lee Moldover. The overseer is basically the leader of the vault, and Vault 32's last overseer, Jackson, died allegedly to like starvation.
When blight hit our wheat, we lost a lot of good people.
So it's well known that both parties need help recovering their resources, wheat and semen. Or maybe I should just say a breeder.
So what's your sperm count?
Lucy's dad starts his speech by saying how prosperous everyone's becoming, how in no time we'll return to the surface. And this false hope is always given in post-apocalyptic movies. It reminds me how the captain and Wally kept being like, we're all fine. And no, our world was dead. There was no hope for return. If a jacked up robot didn't exist, we'd all eat ourselves to death. So this is the false hope. I don't need it. And clearly it leads to something bigger. Those Vault 32 people are looking ragged. Also, look at how that lady just does not want to clap right now. We should have known immediately something was up with them. Some Enchanted Evening by the Costells plays, and Blind Owl offers the dance to the cousin lover because he's heartbroken. Lucy takes Monty to their new home, and outside of their home is a little mailbox. This home looks exactly like the 76 room. However, there was no kitchen, but even down to the drapes, we have that very similar mid-century retro aesthetic design. Monty takes off his jumpsuit, to which Lucy replies,
Okie dokie.
a response that a fictional 1950s housewife would say in a man's fantasy. In this episode, Lucy will go from obedient housewife to rebellious revenge seeker after disobeying the other demands from the men in this vault. Scatman Crothers' Keep That Coffee Hot starts playing, and Scatman famously got killed in The Shining, so we should know something is afoot here. Lucy's brother sneaks into Vault 32, whose wheat fields are dead, and we knew they were bad off, but Jesus Christ. I think it's time to assume it wasn't a blight that killed those plants, but a lack of care after the raiders wiped out the vault. Lucy and Monty are post-coitus, notice, and this sick freak wipes himself off on her curtains, which I mean, yeah, Vault 32 is clearly ragged, but that should have been such a red flag. I mean, hello, he's supposed to live there. We're vault dwellers, not cavemen. Back to the brother, he comes across the nursery with the dead body of an original member of Vault 32, and he now knows what's up. Back with Monty and Lucy, if wiping himself off on the curtains wasn't enough, he's acting like it's his first time seeing water in his entire life. Along with a lone scream, this has Lucy pull out her Pip-Boy and realize that Monty is in fact a raider and he's full of radiation. In the games, your Pip-Boy will go off like this when you go through irradiated areas, and you see it at the end of the episode. They start fighting and it's rough as hell. We also see a better look at the stove that says Atomic Queen Stove. An Atomic Shop is where you buy these brands in the game. Lucy uses her stim pack. These will quickly heal most wounds by boosting the body's natural regenerative properties, so her being able to run around and shit up after being stabbed is very on brand for Fallout. Also, the stim pack is in your bathroom in just about the same place in Fallout 76. They raided the armory and we see the Nuka-Cola bottle, all the ammunition boxes open and random bullets just cast everywhere. In the first Fallout game, you started your character off with a knife and a pistol. The knife Lucy uses is actually pretty similar looking to the F1 knife, so it's very fitting that this is basically her starting equipment. Zach Cherry's character yells this,
"Get that jelly mold out of here!"
and this dude is the king of showing up and stuff and spouting an amazing one-liner.
Okay, Spider-Man! Don't flip!
Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Clev coming at you live on the bus.
Then we get a pretty gruesome murder next to the Nuka-Cola machine, another item we see from the games. Honestly, around this part, we get some horrible fight scenes like my girl getting a fork in the eye. The raider inhales jet, and this is a chem from the Fallout universe. It's basically just meth. And it's funny because in Fallout, drugs always give some sort of benefit as well as a negative one. So you do frequently end up taking drugs during fights to boost action points or whatever. When the projector stops working, we get walls of "please stand by," which also appears in the games. We're then met by the Vault 32 leader and the remaining Vault 33 hostages, and we get this little exchange.
I think I know who you are.
Everyone knows who I am, but do they know who they are? They are the product of one of life's tricky little choices.
So clearly this is something very mysterious, and this is where I warned you about the spoilers, because this could be a pretty big spoiler for the show's future since they haven't really revealed it yet. So if you don't want a big spoiler, mute me for like 10 seconds and I'll flap around when you can come back. This could give way to Vault 33 being an experiment. So most of the vaults in Fallout were really some sort of psychological experiment, and I think this one has something to do with genes and breeding. Maybe Vault 33 was all the members of one family and Vault 32 was members of another family. It's not normal to have two vaults right next to each other or to have them swap folks back and forth during arranged marriages for mating purposes, so I think this has to be part of a major experiment. The other interesting thing is, whatever the experiment of Vault 33 was, her father was probably in on it, as most overseers have some idea of what their vault is truly about. Moldover also says you look like your mother, so she has some knowledge of what has been going on inside the vault. Since Lucy's father had never seen her before, this means she's probably been watching them via cameras, which sort of implies some scientific interest to me, and I wonder if she could be a member or an ex-member of the Institute, a faction of scientists and researchers. They're the most obvious choice for those who could continue to observe a vault experiment following the collapse of Vault Tech. Moldover could also just easily be an ex-member or a member of the Enclave, as Vault Tech set up the vaults in conjunction with the Enclave to test humanity. Okay, you can come back. I'm done with my theory that could spoil a lot of things. When Moldover mentions the line about Lucy's mother, though, it could technically be literal, as in she looks exactly like her mom. In the Fallout universe, there are such things as clones and lifelink synth replicas of people, so Lucy could be a clone or like a synth of her mom, or what would be her mom. This setup right here reminds me of several Fallout games. In Fallout 4, you're locked in a cryopod while your spouse is killed and your baby is stolen, and in Fallout 3, your father leaves the vault and you go on a quest to find him. So this sort of is like combining those two things together. Moldover offers the hostage vault dwellers of 33 to run and hide like they're known to do. So we're already seeing that snippet of animosity people have for vault dwellers. These are literal raiders from the surface. They broke into Vault 32, and in the trailer, an old lady was stunned to see Lucy, an actual vault dweller, calling her a dipshit and then assuming they were all dead. So it's clear that no one really likes or cares for the vault dwellers, and I mean, who would in a post-nuke world where some suffer from radiation above and others get to survive and thrive below? I'd be jealous. I'd be pissed. We come from a black screen to a man getting jumped, which okay, calm down. Johnny Cash's So Doggone Lonesome plays, and the title screen for Maximus pops up like Lucy did for her name. Later, we see their flag, and this is the Brotherhood of Steel, which secures the wasteland. The Brotherhood of Steel is a group of soldiers who originally spun out of the US military. By this point, they're different factions, and I assume this is the West Coast faction, so they're more intense and dogmatic, while some of the East Coast members are more focused on protecting civilians versus preserving technology. However, the flag here differs slightly from the one you might have seen in Fallout 4 and 76. This red and white flag is featured in Bethesda's merch site sight as the first flag for the Brotherhood of Steel. However, appearing in Fallout 3, its first known use was in 2277. These people are currently training to be squires. As we see later, those chosen will be promoted to a squire for a knight, like a caddy to a golfer. Later, during the interrogation scene, Cleric Quintus calls them aspirin, which might be what they're referred to now before they're squires. We see a wide shot of the compound, and at the bottom right, you can see a poster that says enlist. This, like many posters in the show, are from the original games. The T-60 power armor drops in. It was invented during the Sino-American War by America, which helped them turn the war in our favor. The T-60 armor is from the most recent Fallout games, Fallout 4 and 76. Dane and Maximus find their way looking at the stored T-60 armor when Maximus gets a flashback of young him being saved by a knight, which we will get into later. All Over Again by Johnny Cash plays. Also, I think this could be a very cute reference to the Fallout game physics, because in Fallout, you can pick up and throw stuff, and there are basketball hoops all around in the universe, so you can run around throwing stuff into basketball hoops, but you can't dribble in the game. So this is basically them playing basketball in real life, but like how you could play it in the game, and I think that's a really cute little nod. It's revealed that Dane has been promoted to a squire, leaving Maximus pretty salty. They say that they're going to the wilds, and then the next day, Dane sabotage and everyone says that it's Maximus who did it. We're then back with Lucy now, and her bedroom picture covered in blood changes from good night to good morning. This is actually in your bedroom in Fallout 76 as well. This kind of feels like a metaphor for a new day, like a new horizon. Just like the picture, everyone's moving upward from the events of last night with not a lot of remorse. I like how they take down the blood-soaked "the outside world can never hurt you" poster and just put up a new one without blood on it. They're leading the dead bodies to the compost, which makes sense. And during this time, Brighter Side by Connie Conway plays. So even in the soundtrack, we're looking to the brighter side of things. Lucy staples her wound shut, and God, I hated it. And then she just jumps back into the fray. Later, she proposes to go out and search for her dad, and everyone says, absolutely not. To which her brother challenges it's because none of them could be in charge, aka the new overseer for 33. We're seeing how internally, no matter how cordial everyone is, the hierarchy system and us being humans can still create hostile environments where we strive for leadership and ownership, even during a post-nuclear holocaust. We'll see throughout the show how people on the surface, vault dwellers, and even the Brotherhood of Steel all exist in this world, and it's not really pretty. Chet helps Lucy to the elevator using his Pip-Boy. This leads them to the vault entrance. Lucy only knows what she learned through the school in her vault, so understandably, Chet is very nervous for her. There were a lot of bodies outside of the shelter when she leaves, and as we saw in the opening of Fallout 4, there were a lot of people that wanted to get into the shelters then were admitted, so it looks like something similar happened here. Like in the game, if you start as a vault dweller, you exit the vault in your vault dweller suit, like Lucy is doing here, which I assume will be updated, or maybe she'll find better clothes later. When she steps out, you can hear the same radiation monitor that I mentioned earlier, the Pip-Boy that alerts her that she's in like a radiation zone, which of course all of outside is in radiation zone. We can see the broken debris of Santa Monica Pier's sign, and how tragic. All the old toys and structures, then it's revealed we're at what once was the Santa Monica Pier overlooking the Pacific Ocean. Oh, and it's barely standing, though the Ferris wheel's still there. And you know, thank God we still have the Santa Monica Ferris wheel. We saw this snippet actually in the trailer that was released a month ago. All of this destruction means all the hotels, all the homes around Santa Monica are now broken and just destroyed, lifeless remains and memories of what once was. They even got the Santa Monica bubblegum shrimp, and god damn it, that's the best bubblegum shrimp. I feel like just the smell of the ocean makes the bubblegum shrimp feel like it's actual shrimp. Bubblegum shrimp, please don't come for me. I like you at Universal too. Back with Maximus, he's being questioned by Elder Cleric Quintus. We learn in this interrogation that Maximus has joined the Brotherhood to hurt those who hurt him. Young Maximus was also hidden inside a little fridge, like Indiana Jones. Maximus apologizes and grovels to Cleric Quintus, saying he's willing to lose his own life for the Brotherhood, to which Quintus says, good boy, then is promoted to squire for Knight Titus. And I'm always skeptical about things like this, because we don't know who hurt young Maximus. It could have easily been the Brotherhood of Steel, and what we're seeing here is actually him infiltrating and taking them out from the inside. These are things from the first episode that are still up for debate and questioning that give these characters some really fun story arcs. At one point he says this:
if I can help the Brotherhood make it better, Eden, or whatever.
Maximus may be referencing the Get or Garden of Eden creation kit. These were supposedly given to every vault and were terraforming kits to help vault dwellers rebuild once they emerge from the vault. So Maximus may be speaking metaphorically here, or perhaps the Brotherhood is looking for a Get. The initiation to be promoted to a squire includes all of your peers, you accepting your terms and conditions, then your knight burns you with their metal hand, which left Maximus with a T, which I assume is for Titus, because he's Knight Titus. Their newest mission comes from the highest clerics of the Commonwealth, according to Quintus, which is mostly around Boston. It's a large portion of what was Massachusetts. Their target is the Enclave denizen and their companion, who I assume is dog meat. They escaped and they have an important object with them. There's a lot of possibilities here about what that object could be, like a new strain of the Fev virus or a nuclear weapon. In the Fallout games, you can travel with a companion, often a dog named Dog Meat, and they're a good boy. And the Fev virus is partially responsible for the super mutants. We're now at a new location with a tall fortress-like wall with torches lining the edges like a castle, and a man is killed by a junk jet, which is a weapon that can shoot a variety of ammo, like a desk fan, or I suppose a baby doll arm. Here we meet Honcho, played here by Michael T. Williamson, best known for his role as Bubba in Forrest Gump, and someone, please tell this man that his store is completely gone in Santa Monica. I will never give up on bubblegum shrimp. You can never make me hate bubblegum shrimp. We're then introduced to Walton Goggins' new character, the Ghoul. They're scared though he might be a feral ghoul, which exists in the games. They're ghouls that are simply just, feral. They're like zombies transformed from the radiation. However, there are some ghouls that still have their minds, like Walton Goggins. They have extended lifespans, are immune to most radiation, seen as they're full of it. And Walton Goggins is so good here that I'm almost too attracted to him, which is honestly not surprising because I'm also attracted to Cad Bane. So it's probably because he's a fictional bounty hunter. It's not because they both have weird skin. After disclosing they're after a man who escaped the Enclave and is headed to Moldova in California, the female raider who attacked Vault 33, he turns on the group, never really being, fully invested or involved anyways, and says this.
Whenever somebody says they're doing one last job, that usually means their heart's not in it. But for me, well, I do this shit for the love of the game.
And I'm sorry, but nothing in the world is smoother than that line right there. He then makes that dude's head explode, and that does tend to happen in the games, especially when getting headshots through VATS. Then we get the title page for the Ghoul, just like Lucy and Maximus, and you gotta love it. The Ghoul reprises his line.
Us cowpokes, we take it as it comes.
And luckily, the chicken survives. We close to the credits, and the song is Sheldon Allman's Crawl Out of the Fallout. We get this heavily yellow sky, light beaming from the sun as this man reads a newspaper. This is the Capitol Post, a pre-war newspaper from the games. Then the sun erupts into a ball of green light, conveying the nuke explosion. The ripple from the nuke melts and deteriorates everything in sight, leaving the man's skeleton sitting on the bench. When you zoom out more, the sun returns, and we see the broken debris of the Ferris wheel, even a family in the middle of leaving the Ferris wheel, now just skeletons sitting in the little cart. And I love this credit sequence. We see boats capsize, the instant death of the world in just seconds. We see a sign for secure your place now with people lined up to enter a vault. It's not really mentioned in this episode. From the trailer, we know that you could purchase a residence in a vault, and some people actually did. The world knew we could end at any moment, and some folks took action. And that's it for the first episode breakdown for Fallout, the series. I really love the first episode. It's so fun. It's such a good pilot. Amazon Studios really loves blowing out their worlds, and I can't wait for more Vault news on their YouTube page. I love the Ghoul. I love Lucy. Who doesn't? So many fun stories and already proving to be a fun adventure awaits. I'll be breaking down the remainder of the season later on the channel for you binge heads soon, so don't get mad at me. For now, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Lulu_Clemons, and a huge thank to John Costa, Gina Ippolito, and Brandon Barrick for helping me write this, for Riley, for all the gamers here at New Rockstars that were like, hey, Fallout, that's my childhood. Go follow New Rockstars, subscribe to New Rockstars for more analysis of everything you love. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.